Today I have a Hoya haul for you, and I'm going to be planting them up 4 Hoyas. I'm going to be planting up 4 Hoyas. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 new Hoyas, and talking about them as I do. I'm going to use this plastic tub to cut down on the mess. So let's start with Hoya number 1. I'm going to be potting all 4 of them into 4-inch plastic pots. Because I found that Hoya do very well in plastic, especially when I'm providing them a very airy mix. This is just perlite and soil, which I actually mixed up in another video, which you'll either see in the future or have already seen. So we're going to put a little bit in the bottom here. A little bit in the bottom, a little bit in the bottom, a little bit in the bottom, a little bit in the bottom. Just to cover up the drainage holes. And then we're going to look at the roots of this brand new Hoya Krimson Princess. I already have a Hoya Crimson Queen, which I love and which loves me. The Crimson Queen, the other one, has white variegation around the outside margins of the leaves. It's elbow marginated. But the Princess has more of a cream or a yellow variegation on the inside of the leaves here. But they have very similar growth patterns, these long vines. So we'll put it in here. Perfect. Oh, it's so pretty. And it came with a really, really good soil, so I want to give it as much of that soil back as I can. I can tell there's some sand in the soil, which is also really good for drainage. Okay. Yep. Oop. Making a mess. Alright, okay. Okay, and then I will use my hands to add another handful or 2 of my soil mix. Hands, just because it's faster for me than using the wooden spoon. Faster and more accurate, but messier. Okay. Looking good, looking good. Oh, I'm so excited about these. Now I will be putting these in cash pose, basically just white cover pots to make them look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. Okay, so that's potted up beautifully. Very happy with that. I will dump this soil in here. This is the Hoya Krimson Princess. See this beautiful long vine? I love it. So pretty. Great. Okay. So there's one. Starting in on number 2. I got these Hoyas for $10 each or under, and they're from a woman I buy from on Facebook who is possibly my favorite seller because her prices are just astoundingly fair. And she always sends the most beautiful, full, lush plants that are so well packaged. I wish I could have filmed an unboxing for you, but the package came later than I was expecting, and so I didn't really have time to film when it arrived. I just had to get them out of the box. So this is actually the next day that I'm potting them up. Okay, so this is a Hoya Bella. Hoya Bella, Hoya Bella, Hoya Bella, Hoya Bella. And this is a slightly more delicate Hoya. You can see the roots are just a little bit more fragile looking, not quite as fully developed as a system. Perfect. And the leaves are a little bit thinner, which tells you that it might like more water than other Hoya do, or like to be watered more frequently, perhaps, than other Hoya that can withstand a certain amount of drought. Okay, so I've got the original soil, most of the original soil in there that it came with, and I'll add some of mine with my good old trusty hands. This Hoya is more of a draping chandelier Hoya. It cascades eventually when these tendrils grow long enough to weigh more and kind of fall over the side. It's very beautiful. I think I'm gonna put this one in a high traffic area so that I see it all the time, every day, and I'm making sure to keep it watered enough and make sure that it's getting the right amount of light. So maybe I'll put it in the kitchen. Not that I cook a lot, I really don't. My partner's a much better cook than I am. Okay, so that looks very nice. Hoya Bella, Hoya Bella, Hoya Bella. I just love the small little leaves. It's so cute, so cute. This is a pretty popular Hoya, but I've just never seen it for sale in any of my local garden centers. So such a cutie. Number 2. Number 3 is a Hoya that I have tried before and I failed. It never really bounced back from shipping. It was very, very dry when I received it, and it never quite recovered. What I should have done was put it directly in water instead of potting it in soil, but I didn't want to rot the roots, so I put it in regular soil and tried to water it well, but the roots just never rebounded. This one, however, looks so much healthier than the other ones did when it arrived, so I'm pretty sure I should have no problem with this. This is Hoya Multiflora, also known as the shooting star Hoya, because it's, oh, there are 2 in here, 2 plants. Wow, that's cool. Wow. So, yeah, sorry, I got excited and thrown off by that. It's known as the shooting star Hoya because when it flowers, the flowers look like little like starbursts kind of that shoot out. So it's commonly called the shooting star Hoya. Let's see, how do I want to position these? Back to back, probably. Yeah. How's that? Oh, there we go. There we go. That's good. Okay. This Hoya it stands out from other Hoyas because it grows upright. And most Hoyas, there are, I mean, lots of species that grow upright, but the majority of Hoyas that you see on the market, at least in the US, are vining, meaning that they grow best on trellises or moss poles, and they'll grow up and vine. or the more chandelier type like the Bella, I just potted up. But this one grows upright in more of a bush type growth pattern. Okay, so I'll get as much of the original dirt in there as I can. Discard this. I will say it can be tricky to get Hoya to bloom. Most people who love Hoya grow them for their blooms. I definitely don't. I grow them for the foliage. I love their foliage. But it can be difficult to get them to bloom, especially if they're young, if they haven't, been established in the same pot, same conditions for years. So once they start blooming, it's an exciting thing for a Hoya owner. This batch of 4 new Hoya marks, I think, my 20th Hoya. I think I'm at 19 or 20 now. I've only been growing them for a year and a half, I think, but I have 2 peduncles starting on 2 of my Hoya. Peduncle is where the blossom will grow from, the flower. So I'm very excited that they're happy enough and established enough to start blooming for me, because that's an exciting milestone for a Hoya collector. Okay, and there's the Multiflora. This one also has a bit of a thinner leaf, so I'll have to keep a close eye on it as well, especially given that the first one I owned died from dehydration. So I will make sure to give this the water that it needs, but not overwater it, because that is a death sentence. Okay, Multiflora. And Hoya number 4. This is a Hoya that I've wanted for a long time, actually, and it's supposedly not that difficult to come by. A lot of people own this Hoya, but I have just not seen it for sale in my the places where I locally shop. So I decided to buy one online, and I'm really, really excited to own this one, because it has a really cool pattern on the leaves that I'll show you. This is called a Hoya Krinkle 8. Krinkle 8. It has a nice hardy root system. And there's a couple different plants in here as well. That's fantastic. This seller is, she's so good. She sends the best plants. Okay, well, I'm gonna make a mess with this one, and that's okay. I'm gonna need a little bit more room for the roots. So let me show you why it's called the Krinkle 8. It's because it has abs. It has not a 6-pack, but an 8-pack. I'm gonna make a mess, that's okay. So if you look at, like, say this leaf up close, see that? See how it has 8 kind of little divots in it? All of the leaves are like that. They have just those little indentations, 8 indentations on each leaf. And that's why it's called the Krinkle 8. Okay, so we'll pot this up here. Put this little guy in the front. I think there are 3 separate plants. No, there are just 2. That's just 2. Yeah. I say just, but there are 2 plants. Which is exciting, because a lot of times, especially if you buy plants online and you don't get to very, very closely examine the plant, you're not exactly sure what to expect when it's shipped. And in my experience, sometimes they're smaller than I would have hoped, which is rarely or never the seller's fault. They're usually not being deceptive. It's just a case of not being able to really tell from pictures exactly what all is involved, especially under the soil. I inhaled some dirt. This one is so full. I love it. Okay, but I do need to add a little bit of my mixture. Dump, 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 dump. All four of these Hoya, I think, especially since they're so healthy and beautiful, will be getting prime real estate, either directly in a window or under a grow light. A lot of people say that Hoyas are low light plants, and they are. They can survive pretty well in lower light conditions, but I've just found that they won't thrive unless you give them a lot of bright indirect light, or direct light in the case of a grow light. The foliage grows more quickly and more dense, which is the case for most plants, honestly. Even low light plants, or plants that are said to be able to withstand low light, yes, they will live, and they will grow, but they will be very, very slow to grow, and their foliage will be a little bit sparse or gangly. So this is the Hoya Krinkle 8. Now I'm going to water them in a little bit, just to make sure we get all the little pockets of air out of the soil, and give the roots a nice good drink after their journey to get here. I usually water pretty thoroughly the first time I'm watering a newly potted plant, just to make sure I get everything, and really get the soil to move in there, like get down around the roots. So I'll go around once, and then I'll go around twice. I'm so excited to see how these guys grow, because they're such good plants. They're such good plants. I really highly recommend this seller. I haven't asked her if she's okay with me sharing her information and her name, so I will ask her, and if she says yes, I will put it down below in the description. But I will say, I can tell you without hesitance what Facebook group I bought from her from, and that group is Plants for $10 or Less, which is a private group, but you just have to request to join and answer a couple questions, and you'll get approved, and then you can buy beautiful plants. So there we have it. For a beautiful new Hoya, the Hoya Krinkle 8, the Hoya Bella, the Hoya Multiflora, and the Hoya Krimson Princess. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.